Hey book friends, what's up? How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are having a great start to the year, a great reading start to the year. I know that I am. I had hoped to have this video up last week, but I got sick and I sounded like crap. I was feeling like crap and I just was not up for filming, but rest assured, as you guys probably experience as well, I had some wonderful books to keep me company. I have Rue hanging out with me, causing mischief. You can probably hear her in the background. Hey, 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 stop it. Scratching on things. We don't know how long she's going to last with us. She will probably jump around. She was just behind me a minute ago. So it's funny, in this post-COVID world, how, we get a little nervous when we get sick, but it wasn't strep, it wasn't COVID, it wasn't the flu. It was just like a cold type virus. Thank goodness. In any case, let's get to talking about the books. This is going to be one of my wrap-up style what I read in the month of February kind of videos. I am going to do a fuller length video on one of the books that we're going to talk about today in this video. So I'm not going to go fully into that book, but I do have a giveaway that I will do in that fuller length video, which we will talk about. Did that make sense? I hope so. So without further ado, let's get into talking about the books that I read in February of 2022. Oops, 2023. The first book I want to talk about, I'm not sure if I remembered to talk about it in my January video, and I probably should have gone back, and figured that out. It's a friend of mine who I've known for several years now. It's a book friend of mine. She's taken the plunge and become an author. She's a fantastic editor and proofreader and has found this niche that she really likes. I love that I get to get those little snippets into what she's writing. It's something that's completely different that I've never read before. And I love that she has introduced me to that genre. So this was the book that I'm not sure if I remember to talk about, and I feel like a totally bad friend. But this is the book that I read in January of hers, Much to Do About Muffin. I mean, the titles kill me. So it's a cozy mystery. Have you guys read these? These are so fun. They're quick little novellas, whodunits. I cannot tell you what a stress reliever, what a palate cleanser it is. I love being able to read these. And of course, I bought the little paperbacks. So I read that in January, and then she released her second one in the series, It's All Our Muffin. Do you love it or do you love it? So this is the second book in the Cozy Cove, the Mysteries of Cozy Cove series. I just love this. It's Virginia K. Bennett is my friend. And if you love campy and easy and the puns that she has going on in these books, you guys, if you are just looking for something, whether obviously you're here on this channel because you're a romance reader, she puts this fun little amount of romance in the books. You'll love the characters. You'll love the ties to pop culture she puts in. She's a fantastic cook and baker. So this series does have stuff about cooking and baking. I just can't talk about this enough. And it's not just because she's my friend. She's a fantastic writer. Her attention to detail is amazing. And these are quick, fun reads. Highly recommend. Next up, we have Meet the Family by Cassandra P. Lewis. You guys, you know that Cassie is one of my favorite authors ever. I was so thrilled to finally get this book. Sitting down and preparing for this video, I was going through all my highlights and I got like all weepy and teary and happy and like swoony heart eyes all over again. So this is the book that I will be doing a second video on because it's really, quite frankly, 4 books in one, and I simply have so much to talk about with it that I felt like it would overtake this whole video, and I didn't feel like it was fair to all the other books that I want to talk about. So that being said, I can also tell you that sitting right here, I have, if I can pick them up, the gorgeous paperbacks. So this is the original book, Sticking to the Terms, and then this came out a year and a half ago, and then she expanded on this, and we're going to talk about Meet the Family today. I'm looking in my monitor. I'm filming on a webcam that's attached to my computer, so that when I'm looking off into the distance, it's because I'm looking at my monitor. I'm still getting used to it. Could you die for these covers though? So here's the thing. I will be doing a giveaway for these in my other video, so you have to stay tuned and be looking for that. Meet the Family is about the characters that we met in Sticking to the Terms and then some. Meet the Family is about, well, okay, let's go back. Sticking to the Terms is about Dylan and Enzo. And then Meet the Family is about Dylan and Enzo's family and their siblings. Dylan and Enzo are getting married. They decide to have a dinner with their siblings. Is it the night before the wedding or 2 nights before the wedding? And they're talking about how they all met their significant others. And those are the stories that are in this book. Ah, it's so amazing. So the stories are, and I had to write them all down so I didn't get them wrong. The stories are Drawn to You, which is Giovanna and Roberto. And let me tell you, you guys, literal best book girlfriends, all of them, and freaking best book boyfriends, all of them. That never has happened. It has never happened to me where I have found in one series, and this isn't a series, I know, but in one series, I love more than one of the main characters. It happened. Here, it happened. So let me start in the beginning. Drawn to You, which is Giovanna and Roberto. Breaking the Rules, which is Liv and Shay. Falling Back to You, which is Kat and Pete. And then Forever with You, which is Enzo and Dylan. I can't say enough about it. So that's why I need a second video. It's everything. These stories and her writing, everything she puts down in these pages, I pick right back up and I just absorb into my heart and soul. She probably thinks I am like the biggest stalker in the world. She's probably a little bit nervous about me. Because even today, while I was preparing for the video, I'm like messaging her, and I just love her work so much. I just love it. So I want to whet your palate a little bit and tell you a little bit about the stories. Giovanna and Roberto. Giovanna is Lorenzo from Sticking to the Terms, his sister. It's insta love. Roberto is, he's an artist. They're Italian. Need I say, they speak Italian to each other. They are just insta love in the best freaking way possible. And then we have Liv and Shay, and they are a sapphic couple, and Shay is, I constantly transpose them. Shay is Dylan's sister, and also Shay is Dylan's sister, and Liv is Dylan's best friend. Shoot, do I have that right? See, I screw them up all the time. Cassie, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I don't know why they always flip in my head. So that's where Breaking All the Rules comes from. And, oh, God, I have to admit to them being a little bit harder for me to connect to. But then once their story kind of started coming together for me, their story broke my heart in ways that I didn't realize it could. And then it was just like, I was in tears. It was beautiful. And then we have Falling Back to You, which is Kat and Pete. It's Second Chance. It's Single Dad. It's finally getting your chance at spreading your wings after being a caregiver for so long. Putting yourself out there with somebody. I don't want to give too much away. It's a lot. Kat, I really I really connected to her in so many ways. I mean, they all pulled at me, but Kat and Pete, man. Oh, and then Pete, if I already didn't love him, put him with like a stroller. Stop it. I'm just a sucker for the men with babies. And then we get Enzo and Dylan's wedding. And it's not just their wedding, it's their lives and what they've been dealing with for the previous 5 years between sticking to the terms and their wedding date. I just, stay tuned, look for that video. I was thrilled this month to read Until Deacon by K.L. Shandwick. Oh, was I waiting for Deacon. Oh, I could not wait. Finishing up Until Levi, knowing that Deacon was next. I, of course, have done videos on the previous 2 books in this series, which is the Pulse Tunes Rock Gods series by K.L. Shandwick. I freaking adore Until Jude. Then we have Until Levi. Now we have Until Deacon. She is currently writing Until Corey. And you know what? I just said that I hadn't found in the same series book boyfriends, and I lied. Because here it is. Quite frankly, here it is. Yeah, here they are. Jude, Levi, and Deacon. So I'm a liar. I love the way she writes because there's something very thought out and the process and it's the process that the characters go through, and because I know her background and the way she writes, like, I really dig it. She takes her characters on journeys that are thoughtful and they do the work. That is my point. They do the work, and I freaking love that. There was a lot of that to unpack with Sadie and Deacon. We had met Sadie in the previous books. I was very anxious to get more about Sadie because, whoop, is Sadie a character. Literally. Sadie is bitchy. Sadie is snarky. Sadie is mean. Sadie is prickly AF. I wanted to know why Sadie was that way. It's not just that Sadie's like a confident young woman. It's so much more than that. She has walls that are impenetrable. Impenetrable? Impenetrable? Is that the right word? I think so. Like, you could chisel for years and never get through them. Is that a challenge, Deacon? Yes, it is. Knowing what we know about Deacon, I was like, he's quite charming. Quite frankly, they're all rock stars, so like, you know, they have a little experience. And what's it going to be? This is from Deacon's perspective. It was an odd feeling to be a little nervous myself, but I never quite knew where I stood with Sadie from one minute to the next. It didn't take much to set her off. She had a frightening ability to act cordial one minute and have my dick shriveled up inside my ball sack in the very next beat. I love him. And then he says, Sadie was a mystery to her boss and everyone he knew. It was rare for her to behave pleasantly to anyone. Now call me a sadist, but the fact that she couldn't give a shit about our fame, along with her caustic tongue, were 2 of the things that not only intrigued me about her, it turned me on. In a world where women fell at our feet, she was unpredictable, and that made her not only refreshing, but extremely exciting. They have chemistry. It's definitely enemies to lovers, but like, is it? Is enemies to lovers ever enemies to lovers? So it's like, you know, it's there, but what's lying beneath there? With Deacon, was it just because he wanted to get with her? I don't know, but with Sadie, I wanted to know what was beneath all of it. As we kind of unpack along the way of what Sadie's past is, we start to understand her better. We take leaps and bounds into her past and understanding her, and that really helped me open my heart to her as a character, because before I was like, oh my God, she's such a bitch. They go through so much in this book. I loved watching them fall in love and how that changed them as people and how that made them continually take little turns towards each other. And when they both realized that they were falling in love and had been falling in love, she just writes the most beautiful love stories. Okay, and holy crap, this friggin' book that we're going to talk about next. You guys, my mouth is still on the floor about it. Here we are on book 2. It has like pushed my boundaries as a reader immensely. Immensely. I just like, oh my God. The book is When Sinners Hate by Heart DeLune. It's House of Skin book 2. You guys, there's a separate like beginning novella to give you a little background about the characters. And then there was the first book, which is When Sinners Fall. And now we have When Sinners Hate. I almost stopped reading the novella. And I was like, oh crap. I don't like this. But I really like Rachel's writing, and I've really wanted to read Charlotte's writing. I'm like, okay, I just have to go with it. And then I read When Sinners Fall, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with it. Crap. Because check your freaking trigger warnings, exclamation point. It's a lot, these books, and they, in every social media post, they talk about it. These men, these characters make no excuses for the horrible men that they are. So check your friggin' trigger warnings. These books are like that, okay? But here we go. I gotta see it through at this point because I like I like to push my boundaries as a reader. When Sinners Hate is about Abel and Lexi. We saw at the end of When Sinners Fall, the beginning of When Sinners Hate. It's basically cartel type of mafia. So we know at the end of When Sinners Fall that Alexia is from a rival cartel. Abel's family has killed her brother, and she's basically being pawned off to marry into Abel's family. She's an Ortega. They're the Cortez family. She's supposed to marry one of them to kind of merge the families. It's obvious the Cortezes are way more powerful, and they want to take over what is left of her dad's empire, which is failing without, his son. Nobody has any respect for her as a woman. So the book starts, and literally she is standing in the living room of the Lion's Den, the Cortez family living room, and she's the enemy. And she's like, okay. Abel, who's now the new kind of like head of the family, not new, he's the head of the family, he decides he's going to do it, and they're all like, WTF, why are you doing this? Like, we need you focused on, like, the empire we're creating, and and he's like, what, you're all gonna do it? Like, I don't think so, I'm gonna do it. Lo and behold, like, he sees something in her, and Abel's a bad man, and he knows that she's capable of being his wife. And all that in their world, and how vicious their world is, that she is capable. He's going to make sure she is. It was really hard for me. I almost stopped reading this book. Rachel and Charlotte go there, and again, I will emphasize making sure you check your trigger warnings, because this series goes there. I didn't know how I could ever come back or come around to, I almost said Dante, Abel at all. It became about finishing this book for Lexi and reading her story and bearing witness to Lexi's story and how I was going to stand by her side reading this character and what was going to come of her. I was shocked at the end of this book how I felt. And I'm still shocked that this is how I felt. And I have to say, that's the magic of storytelling. And there's women like Lexi in her position, and I just loved her. And she's what made me keep reading this freaking book. She is amazing. Let me know if you have read any of these books. You guys know I always love to hear. And I will be filming and then posting my video on Meet the Family shortly, so definitely go check that out as well. As always, I hope you got some good book recommendations, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.